Hey guys, it's Miss Bonnestock with you all today. We're going to talk about something in regards to equations. Like, we're not moving past equations yet, but it's a method that Miss Cooper and I call plug and chug. Other teachers call it plug and chug too, but we jokingly say it saves lives, and we really mean it in the sense that when you start doing equations, sometimes all the steps can get so confusing in your head, and this is kind of just one foolproof way of solving equations. The only catch is it has to be multiple choice. So as an example, this equation right here, we're trying to figure out what the value of D is. So what does D equal? And it does give you two options. It says 2 or 3. So in this case, we would think of this as multiple choice. Like on a multiple choice test, like the Georgia Milestone, you'll have, 4 choices, A, B, C, and D. This one only gave you 2, which actually makes our life a little easier. So thank you, IXL, because this is exactly where I pulled it from. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what to do with this information. It should be pretty simple in the beginning, and then it'll get more complicated as we go on. So if you were to solve this normally, everyone knows that you would take the equation and do the opposite. This is multiplication, and so the opposite would be to divide. D equals 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we know that the correct answer should be this first one right here. But that's not what plug and chug is. Plug and chug is not solving the equation. Plug and chug is literally pulling out your calculator and plugging it in, pressing enter, and it chugs out an answer. That's why it's called plug and chug. So I think everyone should kind of probably stop right here, pause the video, and go find your calculator. I'm going to do the same thing. So obviously if you can solve it this way, that's fine. I'm not going to. I'm going to take these answers and I'm going to plug them in. And I'm going to try both. And anytime you plug in a number, please, please, please always, sorry about that. Please always insert your number in parentheses. So 2 is our first number. And then I need to plug in 1. So I'm going to do the 2 first, and I'm going to plug it in with parentheses. And it's correct. 2 times 2, they're sitting next to each other, equals 4. I got 4 right here. I want to show you what would happen if you would have done the other one, though. So if I would have plugged in the 3 instead, it would have given me 6. And I'm not supposed to get 6. It says it's supposed to equal 4. And I really love the Decimus calculator because it literally has the equal sign right there, and it says it equals 6. Nope, it was supposed to equal 4. So again, we just kind of do that by wrapping it in the parentheses when we plug it in, and then it chugs out our answer. It chugs out our 4. So in this case, the answer we know to be true is the 2. So I'll leave that circled for us. All right, on the next one, you could again go and solve it by yourself, just kind of over here on the side. You know that you've got to get the 3 away from Q, and the opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3. So you would go and subtract. So, sorry if you just heard the announcements. It's the end of the day, and I'm trying to make this video during announcements. Sorry about that. But I'm not going to go and solve this. That's not the point in plug and chug. The point of plug and chug is to use our calculator. So I've got my calculator. And like I said, we're going to try each one, and we're going to wrap it in parentheses. The only tricky thing about this one is that this side is where the equation, like the part of the equation that we're trying to solve is, and it's supposed to equal 14. So I need to actually type in this side of the equation, and it says 3 plus, and I'll try the first one. I'll try 10. And remember, I said to wrap it in parentheses, and it says it equals 13. On my calculator, but it says over here that it's supposed to equal 14. So we know that's not true. So let's try the next one. 3 plus, and again wrap it in parentheses, and this time I'm going to try 11. Close parentheses. And look, this time it says it equals 14. So equals 14, we're good. It works. Now, we used to be very picky in the past about how you would show your work on this, because there are some things that do require you to show your work. So I'm just going to kind of quickly show you like 1 quick minute how to do that. And again, you can still use your calculator. So if I were trying to show work on this one, I would have shown the first one I did first. We said that 3 plus 10, we put it in our calculator. We said it equals 13 in the calculator, but it's supposed to equal 14. Those don't equal each other, so that's not the right answer. And then again, I would just quickly go and sketch the next one out on my piece of paper to show the work. And it would be 14 again equals 3 plus, and then we tried 11. I'm running out of room, sorry about that. Oh, I'm all over the place. And 14 equals 14. We got it to equal 14, so that was the right answer. So it was 11. Again, put it all in your calculator. We're not asking you that you do it in your head. And again, if we need you to show your work, this is how you would just quickly show your work. All right, moving on to number 3. So number 3 got a little bit more complicated, but again, we need all of this side to equal 8. So let me grab my calculator. And again, I need this side to equal 8. So I would type in 3, and it says t. So I'm going to try this one first. Let's try the 3. I'm going to wrap it in parentheses. Remember, when you plug in a number, it has to wrap in parentheses. But I'm not done, because it also said that it was 3 times t minus 1. So I need to also minus 1. And I got it equaling 8, and guess what? It's supposed to equal 8. So I know that that is the right answer, and we can go ahead and stop there and make that the right answer. Again, if I needed to quickly show the work, I could. 3 times 3, we chose to plug in this one first, which was 3, and then minus the 1. And it was 8. So, really quick job of checking and showing our work. All right, so the first 3 problems I think were rather easy, but it will get more complicated, which I chose to do 3 more examples with you guys. So example 4 is more complicated in the sense of it just looks a little bit messier. But again, you can throw everything into your calculator. So let's clear it out. So this one, all of this is supposed to equal -6. So let's try the first one first. So I've got to write this whole statement into my calculator, this side. And I need to make sure I use my parentheses correctly. So it starts with -3, and then I have a set of parentheses. But I'm supposed to put a P right there. And I know that anytime I add a number, I have to do another set of parentheses. We talked about that, and that's -3. Close the parentheses. So my -3 is right there, and then it says +5 and close the parentheses. So close the parentheses. So this double parentheses right here is okay because I've inserted a number for P, and we said anytime you insert a number, you have to insert it with an extra set of parentheses. And guess what? It's right. Equals -6 equals -6. So I can stop there. It is the first one again. We got very lucky on that. So it was this one. All right, moving on to one that's a little bit harder. What you should notice about this one is that you have a b on this side of the equation and on this side of the equation. Like for all of our other ones, it said it just equaled a number, like this equaled -6. This equaled 4. This one equaled 14. So this one is a little bit trickier because I've got something on both sides of the equation that's a variable. Now we've already showed you how to solve equations with variables on the both sides. So you could go through all of the steps of solving that, or you could learn how to do it with plug and chug. Now, what that means is you're going to have to do 2 separate plug and chugs. So I'll show you what I mean by that. This side says 3 times b. So I'm going to do that. 3, enter my parentheses, and let's try -12 first. -12. So 3 times b, which is negative 12, is negative 36. So I am going to write that down. This side was negative 36. Uh-oh, you can't even read that, can you? Let's try that again. Negative 36. Okay? That means the other side, when I do that one in the calculator, guess what? It has to equal negative 36. So we've got to do the other side also. And you can press enter on your calculator to kind of keep it right there and remind you of what it was. So let's do the other side now. The other side says 7 times b, so 7 times, and we're still on this one. We're still on negative 12. Close my parentheses, and then minus 48. Okay, that says it equals negative 132. So let's write that down and look at it. My 3s are terrible. Negative 132. Does negative 36 equal negative 132? No, those do not equal each other. So let's erase it and do the other one. And I'm kind of glad that didn't work out so that we could have some extra calculator practice. So let's look at positive 12. Our next option is positive 12. So I'm going to clear all this out. So again, I need to put a positive 12 on this side first. So 3 times positive 12. That's a positive 36. So that side equals a positive, it's not letting me write. I'll do this. Positive 36. Okay? And the other side, when I finish it, has to equal the positive 36. So let's enter that side into the equation now. It's a little bit more complicated. So 7 times b, 7 times, and remember we're doing positive 12 this time. Close my parentheses. And then don't forget about your minus 48 because that's also there. Oh, look, it equaled positive 36. So positive 36 equals positive 36. I got the same number on both sides of the equation, so I am good to go. That is a check mark. So the answer was positive 12, not negative 12. And then there is one more we're going to do together. And again, you've got variables on both sides of the equation, as you can see. So we're going to have to do both sides of the equation separately, just like we did a second ago. So they should equal each other when we're done, though. So get out your calculator, and let's do our negative 4 first. So this is we're going to start right here on this side of the equation first. So 5 times a, so 5, and then my parentheses, we're going to try negative 4, close parentheses, and this time it says plus 75, so I need to make sure I type that. And it said it equaled 55, so I'm going to write down that this side, when I plugged in the negative 4, I got 55. Now, I'm not done with negative 4. I also need to plug in negative 4 on this side and see if they equal each other at the end. All right, I can press enter so I can kind of leave that there to see it. So on this side, it's negative 9 times, and remember we're doing negative 4. These are things you constantly have to remind yourself so you unfortunately don't mess it up. And then go back and look. It says plus 19. And I got 55. And 55 equals 55. So we can actually stop there and say it is negative 4. I hope you find that this actually helped you. A lot of you all were having a hard time following the steps, figuring out, if one side was equal to the other side, what to do the next step. You may have been confused about how the steps worked and, the process of all of that. So again, this is just solely using your calculator. You don't have to go and do all of this stuff anymore where you do the opposite, but it only works if it is multiple choice. And on all of these, you only had 2 choices. Thank you, IXL. But remember, on a multiple choice test, you might have 4 choices to have to go through and try. But for those who can't solve equations, it's going to literally save your life because you can just plug and chug all of the options until you find the right answer. So again, I hope this is helpful, and I hope that it helps you with solving equations in the future.